how to describe, how to write about steady state photoluminescence in a research paper. Steady state PL analysis is the key characterization, and every paper must include this characterization technique. So let's get started. Here we have three samples. The first one is basically the perovskite. This is the perovskite layer here. In your case, this may be a different material. So we can see here, this is the curve here, very low peak here. This is the curve for the perovskite. So we want to see what happened when we add this extra material to the perovskite. In that extra material I represent here. This one is that extra material. It may be in the form of thin film, it may be in the form of doping, it may be in the form of solution, whatever the form is, but we just modified this perovskite surface and we want to see what changes we will get. So we can see that when we add this material to the perovskite, so the peak shape change and the peak increase in intensity. And in the third case, when we add this another material to the perovskite, in that I represent here, so there is a drastic change in the peak intensity. So now let's see how we will describe this in the research paper and what information we get from these curves. So first of all, this is the thin film. I want to clarify that this is basically thin film. This PL peaks, the PL steady PL analysis is basically for thin film. It is a separate thin film. Here is a glass or something, we just deposit perovskite on the top of that glass. It is not for full device. We will explain in the next video that how the PL, the steady PL looks like for the full devices. So let's get started. How we will explain. We can see that figure XX shows the steady state PL result for perovskite film. In this, in your case, this should be other material. So we can say among the three perovskite film, the peak intensity of this one, is the strongest. Yes, we can clearly see. So when it is the strongest, so what it reveal, what it basically indicate, it indicate the suppression of non-radiative recombination. This simply means that what is non-radiative recombinations? Here I mentioned that in photoluminescence, when we shine photon on the material, so the electron basically excited to the higher states. When electron excited to higher states, in the higher states there are, in the conduction states or higher conduction states, there are defects. So here the electron basically lost because of those defects. And here we do not get any radiation. Here we get basically heat or phonons. So this is why it is called non-radiative recombination, because here the electron does not recombine with the hole here. In that case, we will have fluorescence, and that is basically called radiative recombinations, because electron recombine, but we get photons. Non-radiative recombination means that we do not get any radiation, but we lost the electron. So this is because of defects, right? So this is why we mention here that the strongest peak basically shows that it suppresses the non-radiative recombination. Simply means that in that case, basically here we have very less defects. So the electron directly come and recombine here, right? The electron do not lose in these higher states. Yes. In addition, we can see clearly there is a shift here. There is a shift in this peak toward the lower wavelength, and toward the lower wavelength, we know this is called blue shift here. So when we have lower wavelength, that is basically called blue shift, and we will have greater energy or band gap here. This is from talk plot. Also, we can also know from this famous equation. So when we have smaller wavelengths, so the band gap will increase. So this clearly shows that this sample will have higher band gap. So we can also discuss this here, because we see this from this graph. The blue shift of the emission peak suggests broadening the band gap. You see, broadening the band gap of this last sample here. This is how we describe things in a research paper, due to the incorporation of blah 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 into perovskite lattice, which can be confirmed by talk plots. So this is another important thing. You have to link these talk plots here or in supplementary information, or you if you want to mention in the main paper, fine. But this is another link we to develop with the top plots here to confirm this shift, whether the shift is true and because of that band gap or not, right? Very good. Yeah, here we further mention this, that the band gap of this original perovskite and this the second perovskite are same 1.54 electron volt, while it increases to 1.55 electron volt for this one because of this blue shift. So this is how we describe this information in a research paper. I took this TD graph from the important paper. This is the paper where I took the PL data here, and this is published in Nature Communication. This is the title by Lu et al. Here. And this work is basically published under a common license 4.0, and this is basically the link to the license.